Well there, so on my travels I've come across a vintage radio. This is a Bush BP81. It would have been built around about 1957, something like that. I've got some data here on the internet. I got this off Facebook Marketplace, local seller, £15, went to collect at the door. And it's a portable radio in a little attaché case with a kind of leather canvas cover, Rexine black and white polka dots here, a little carry handle and some brass snap handles which I've already opened. The case is discoloured and it's got paint marks on, which will probably come off, but look inside, what a beauty, still in good condition. Let's bring up the camera so you can see. I've got the light there. I'll try and get that light off in a minute. So you can see that dial a little bit better. So we've got must be a volume control, power on and off when you lift the lid, and we have low wave tuning and medium wave tuning. We've got here light, west, north, Brussels, Northern Ireland, London, Ireland, Midlands, Welsh third, Luxembourg and Scottish third. A lot of these channels won't be broadcasting anymore. They're probably long since been fell into disuse, but we know such stations as Absolute Radio and the like still exist on AM broadcasts. Low wave, we got Motala, Moscow, Eloise, Light, Oslo, Luxembourg and Lati, is it? Lati. Be interesting to see if low wave reception is still available these days. I bought this as a restoration project. It's got no power lead, and the owner was a foreign gentleman. He wasn't sure of whether it's working or not. He had no knowledge of it. So let's take a look inside. There's a little brass nut here you'd undo, and the whole thing lifts up to show you the circuitry inside. While you're seeing that, so you have stickers here showing battery connections and the layout of the valves on the circuit board for replacement. There's a high tension, low tension batteries for the valves. One will do the heater circuit and one will energize the valves so they can work and run the rest of the circuit. Valve technology is notorious for power consumption, and I can't imagine this lasting long on batteries in its day. But there's the circuit. This is a super heterodyne receiver, very accurate, very well tuned, air capacitors and tuning filters left, right and centre for the most accurate tuning possible. The whole system runs on valve technology, which predates transistors that we have today. Transistors came into use in the late 50s, early 60s, and valves ran alongside that technology for many years. And we still use valves to this day for amplifiers, guitar amplifiers, because they have a very unique sound. And I removed carefully one of the valves because I'm going to have to go through all of this circuit, try and take the board out carefully, unhinge this lot, get to the circuit board underneath just to check that there are no dry joints and bad connections, that all the components are still looking okay before we put it into action. Here is one of the tubes. Well, can we see that on the camera? These tubes in themselves, sorry, that's a notification off Facebook coming in there. These tubes themselves are a fantastic piece of engineering in their own right. These were in all household products in the day and amplifiers and used in computers, would you believe? The first generation of computers were built with these things, but they were massive and used a lot of power. Incredible. So we'll check this over, test it somehow, and make sure the pins are clean, get it back in the circuit board, along with everything else. Now, amongst all this jumble of electronics here, you might notice that where is the aerial? Some radios have a long black stick with windings on that pick up the radio waves. Or you have a plug-in aerial at the back or a pull-out telescopic aerial. Where's the aerial on this? Doesn't seem to be obvious, but trace this white wire. I'll show you how cleverly they incorporated the aerial into the box, and it's actually built into the lid here. Taken the screws out earlier on so you can see. How's this for a piece of craftsmanship? That aerial. All of this whole set more than likely would have been hand built at the factory. There'd been very little mass production gone into this. Some of the electronic components would have been mass produced, such as the tubes and the tuners and the components, but likely all assembled by hand at the factory. Maybe your fathers or your grandparents may have worked for such people. Here we have the coils, and we see that they're using 3 terminals, so one of them's a common, and this terminal's doing the outer coil, and this one no doubt does the inner one. And I dare to say that this is the medium wave coil and this is the long wave coil on the outer. I'll get a test meter on that to make sure it's still intact and hasn't suffered any damage in its lifetime, which at 1957 puts it circa, this kit is 63 years old. It's 14 years older than me. And these sort of radios have been commonplace in the house and at the time, and people would have taken them out on day trips. I'll worry about that later. It will slip back in. Goes in now, so I've already done it. So yeah, this is a portable radio from 60 years ago, and if you look to what we have now, and God, you can go on eBay and get yourself a cheap do-it-yourself kit these days. And you can build your own radio. Look at the difference. This thing isn't as accurate as that. This thing does FM as well. This predates FM radio. This does AM radio like this one, and FM, which is commonplace these days. It's an okay radio. It's not super accurate. It does the job. This one, of course, is far superior, even though it's 60 years old. And there you go. You can see one of these kits. You get all the components. Instructions in Chinese, but there is a place on the internet where you can find information in English easily enough. So there we have it. Oh, dropping things on the floor. One 1957 Bush radio for a restoration project. I look forward to doing this.